Hey everybody, Tech Time with Tammy. So today's topic is going to be on temperature of reducer, temperature of hardener. Why do we pick the temperatures that we always pick? Why do we recommend what we do? So temperature of the hardener or temperature of your reducer, which is solvent, has everything to do with the temperatures that are formulated with the solvents that are used. So certain solvents that are used in those formulations work better in colder climates, and then they work better in warmer climates, or they work better in the 70s or 80s. So depending on where you live is going to dictate what the temperature of the reducer or what the temperature of the hardener that you pick is. The other day I was doing a call for somebody and I was taking an order, and I asked the question and I was like, what temperature would you like when it comes to your reducer and your hardener? And he didn't know what that meant. Now, he wasn't the one painting, but he was the one who was ordering for his painter. So what I explained to him is kind of what I'm going to explain to you. The temperature of the air is how your paint is going to act. Now, granted, a lot of you may be spraying in spray booths, which have climate control, but a large majority of you are not. So a large majority of who we sell to, they're not quite able to control the temperature of what their booth is and or their shop or wherever it is they may be spraying. And sometimes it actually brings air from the outside, which could actually be making it too hot or hotter than it already is, or in the cold, it could be making it colder. So temperature matters because it's how the paint is going to flow and how it's going to flash and how easy it's going to be for you to spray. So for instance, if it was in the 80s and you were using a fast hardener or a fast reducer in the base or in anything that you have as a temperature when it comes to paint, it's going to flash way too quickly. It means you're not even going to be able to get around the car or whatever it is you're painting before the next coat won't melt into the other because it's just flashing and starting the cure process way too quickly. So with slower evaporating solvents, you can get a job done when it's in the 80s without having to worry about whether or not you're quick enough to get around. So in the 60s, most people like to use a fast. Realize that most things will not cure below 65 degrees and that most people should not be using fast for most reasons. Not even fast reducer. I'm not a fan of either. A lot of times it can cause dieback. What I would recommend for most people who are spraying anything below the temperature of 80, I would always recommend a medium. I'm a person who, from past right at 80, always recommend slow, as I feel like whenever you're doing a job, whether it's the reducer or whether it's the hardener for the clear or whatever it may be, a slower flashing hardener is always going to be less work for you to fight. It's always going to flow. It's always going to melt. It's always going to do better when you're not rushing it. And for a lot of people who are newbies at this, who've never really done a job before, you absolutely do not want to be fighting against the flash of your reducers and the flash of your hardeners to make it work. The slower you go, the better. The only time something super fast that you use is going to hurt you is when it's too hot, and when you use something that's too slow in the cold, it will hurt you as well. Hope this helps. Any more questions, please let them come in. Tech Time with Tammy.